With Amy and Aimsey, it's kind of like they're both so similar and they both kind of coexisted with each other. But now it's like, I am Aimsey now. Growing up, I had a nickname which was just Aimsey, like with a Z. And I remember when I was creating a Twitch name, I tried to do Aimsey. Didn't work, so I was like, Aimsey, let's do that. And that's basically where it came from. And now I'm just Aimsey. No, we have a hate. What I'm known for, basically, is Minecraft streaming. And that's basically what I do, like every single day. I just talk to a bunch of people all around the internet and I show them my games.
Oh no, we're not dying again, we're not dying again, we're not dying again. If this is your comfort stream, you need real help.
Going from a very small town to now being in Brighton, obviously, huge change, and it's been crazy. It's been absolutely crazy, and it's just been beautiful, though. It's been a good change. You guys believe me? What got me to where I am is, honestly, I have to say, honestly, my friends. Without them, I would not be where I am right now. I owe everything to my friends, especially Toby, everything to him, because basically what happened is we met during a stream, first time we ever spoke, and then he became my best friend very, very quickly.
Watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high.
A lot of people trust me from the get-go.
Direction.
I'm still trying to figure out what that is about me, and that's obviously the energy that I want to put out there, because it's always nice to have somebody say to you or just be with you, and they'll be like, I just clicked with you really well. Like, that's the highest tier compliment for me.
I think for Amy, one of the reasons that she's really popular is just because she's so authentically herself, and you can tell that. I think online a lot of people, you can never fully tell her there's a level of unease of whether they're authentically themselves, and her personality just gives you instant serotonin, like it's just a fun experience to be around. You don't feel on edge. She's not doing anything to try and be the best at it. So it's just nice because you just feel like you're kind of friends in a room with her.
Amy's got like a vibrant personality that I think a lot of people just flock to immediately. I only discovered Amy, as in like I fully knew about Amy when we both happened to be in a championship, MCC Rising, which stands for Minecraft Championship Rising. And since then, just kind of been tuning in, and it's always high energy. And so I really appreciate that Amy kind of took that step in initiating like, hey, we're friends now and this is happening.
She's popular because she gets on with everyone. She will try and connect with someone all the time. She's very much a people person. She's like a mum. Like, I wouldn't think she'd be like that, but she seems to look after people a lot of the time. Even when she should be looking after herself. She kind of puts a lot of them first.
The minute you're put in front of a camera, live, you don't have any filter, you're just you, it's gonna warrant people who, you know, just those people on the internet that want to kind of put down anything that could seem happy. And I suffered a lot with it. I'm a lesbian, I'm out online, and it was weird because over time, when I've been speaking about my sexuality, there'll always be very weird people that will come into my chat, just go to all my socials and just weird things. They'll say gross things. And I've suffered a lot of hate raids. A hate raid, sadly, is when somebody gets a lot of people to come to your chat and just say the most vile things you can imagine. I remember my address got leaked and my phone number got leaked, and I just stopped streaming for like 2 to 3 weeks. And I remember in that time, I was genuinely debating not going back to streaming. My way of dealing with all of the hate is genuinely just keeping in mind that these people just want a reaction from me. And honestly, I'll either do the thing where I'll like make a joke out of whatever they're saying so that they can't have any power over me. And if I make fun of them, that's quite funny, and that gives me content because it's quite fun. It is hilarious to just make fun of somebody who's trying to put me down. And the other thing is just pretend they're not there. Just pretend they don't exist. And just always remind yourself there are always going to be people that don't like you in the world, and that's okay.
Amy being a part of LGBTQIA+, the community, I think a lot of people feel like a sense of representation in her. They feel safe in her use of pronouns. They see a lot of themselves perhaps in her. So I think a lot of people can feel like they can belong in that space that she's created.
It's definitely a struggle that a lot of people, if you're part of the community, you understand and can feel. And like me, a lot of her audience are members of the community, and it's often harder growing up to find someone you can look up to or someone you can relate to, and obviously creating such a safe space is made something special.
It was a really weird experience for me going out and figuring out my sexuality. Because I knew from when I was age 12, 11 even, that I liked girls. Well, I knew I didn't like boys, and that was scary. But the thing with me is I kept it to myself. And then I remember my first kiss with a girl was when I was 16, and that scared me really, really badly. I think I had a lot of things I needed to work through, and I didn't tell anybody about how I was feeling.
Remember when you came out? I thought you were just more bi. I think you came out like full lesbian a little bit later on. That was when...
I think it was a constant struggle between...
Do I like no?
And I came out and it was always like, I knew. And I was like, I know you knew, but you know, I still have to say it formally.
I have to say the words and I'm like...
I've been struggling with mental health since I was 13 years old. I've been on medication since I was 15. It's something that is a part of me. Like I use medication, you know, to help me every day, same way that somebody would need to wear glasses every day. It's something so simple and it helps me get out of bed, and that's all I really need. And I think there's such a negative stigma against mental health, especially in the creator space, because there's a lot of pressure that builds up to creators like, oh, it's not a real job. Oh, it's like, oh, you just sit in front of a camera. That's not hard at all. You think of everything else you're kind of faced with, it's kind of like, oh, this is adding to a lot of this. I've got a really good relationship with my chat now. When I tell stories about like my coming out story, or I tell stories about my mental health, things that they can relate to, it's always really, really, really nice to just be able to know that me talking about these things has helped at least one person. Medication doesn't stop the bad days, it just makes them more manageable. It's something that I've worked on for a very long time, I'm still working on it. Mental health never really goes away. We just learn to cope with it, and that's what I'm doing. I just need to remind myself of the things I used to cope, like journaling. Music is very, like even going on like a walk just by myself, that's something that kind of helps, and also being around people I love.
Hello. Couldn't they hear? They can't hear us though, right?
This might have a mic on it.
Wally!
So we're back in Wales. This is my first time being back in 2 months. And this is my little sister's room, which is basically the mini-me, quite literally. I remember here is where I was streaming and I hit all the milestones. It's where I got Twitch partner. Like I met my best friends, like I met Toby in this room, like on call. So many different things, and it's very weird coming back and seeing this has all changed. Because you think when you move away, everyone is still gonna be stagnant and everyone's gonna stay the same. Then you come back and you realize that time moves on whether you're there or not. And that's something that's really hard to comprehend and deal with, but it's very weird that this has all changed now, and it's not my room anymore. It's not my home anymore. My mum's always kind of let us grow in our own ways. It was never a case of restriction. If I'd come home one day and I'd be like, I want to take up this hobby now, I want to do this now, she'd always try and make that work. I know a lot of parents probably wouldn't have been too accepting to the idea of their child dropping out and then doing stuff on the internet. It's very daunting. But she's open-minded, and it's I'm very fortunate to have her as my mum.
Well, I don't push any of them. Eventually they will know what they're meant to do and what they want to do. I don't see the point in pushing. You've got to get your grades, you've got to get this, you've got to get that, unless you know. But my mum done the same with us. Yeah, okay, I still don't know what I'm doing, but still. Never ceases to amaze me. Always going to be proud of you. No. You are just my baby. Like, all the girls are amazing, but this one I think is exceeding expectations all the time.
I'm the best.
I didn't say that.
I'm the best.
I didn't say that.
You're not rest on me, I'm not a dog. I'm older than you. I've always wanted my community to just know that when I'm live, like chat is just somewhere you can just be yourself and have a good time, be whoever you are. And a lot of that is my mum's bringing has done that to me. Sometimes I think back at things I've gone through And it does get difficult, but then I remember I lived through it. And like, I've survived every single one of my bad days. I'm still standing. There's always gonna be ways to cope with those days, and I think that's what's made it very easy for me to carry on.
There's genuinely not a bad bone in her body, and I think the fact that she's puts her whole heart out there and her whole self out there for everyone she meets and makes you feel instantly like welcome and part of the group is like a really special thing to have.
Seeing her going from just her room, just doing these little gaming things, to now being quite a big sensation is always going to be mind-blowing to me, but I'll always be proud of her.
You're just continuing to grow, aren't you? You just literally always, but the thing is with you is you're always looking to see how you can better other people as well, which is got massive empathy about it. And that can sometimes be your failing because you care too much.
Shadows fall
The future is more daunting now.
on the walls again.
I didn't have enough time to prepare myself for the changes.
Dancing with gold
I kind of went in head first.
of the people I've been.
This is what I'm doing, and it's amazing,
Have they gone and died?
but it's still terrifying.
Or are they living here inside?
This can be taken from me or swept under my feet as fast as I've grown. But it's all about luck, and not necessarily luck, but just hope.
I'm ready to start
I'm very hopeful.
on this patchwork heart.
This time next year, it's still gonna be good. Everything's still gonna be good. I'm hoping. I hope.